Have you ever been ghosted? I know I have. Unfortunately, not only have I been guilty of ghosting people before, but I also have been on the receiving end of a ghosting situation. Call it what you like. Sometimes customers go dark, sometimes people go dark. Ghosting isn't always just in a sales environment. Sometimes we as friends, we as humans, we have something that we get really excited about. We want to propose something that we think may be a solution or an opportunity, and the person on the other end, they don't see it the same way we do. So we put ourselves out there, and unfortunately, those folks just go completely silent. So, what do we do? Well, I'll tell you, there's definitely five things that I would like for you to be aware of that are the primary reasons that anybody might go dark. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Number five, sometimes people ghost you because the solution that you have presented is not perfectly aligning with what the prospect or the person on the other end believes is their ideal or perfect need. Okay, so if there is a little bit of a mismatch or a lack of alignment, then sometimes they just need a little bit additional time to determine whether or not this is going to work for them. And unfortunately, people just don't always use their words. And so sometimes this means that you're going to have to ask more questions. All right. Number four, they are not the person who has full autonomy and authority to make the decision. Ultimately, they're not the right person. They're not the DM. I've been in technical sales for quite some time. Let's say I'm dealing with a technical buyer, somebody who's going to be responsible for the implementation. They're going to be responsible for using the service or using that product or what have you. Well, that person might actually need to send the request up the chain within their organization. They might need to reach out to somebody else for the financial authorization to proceed. If they're truly bought in, they might communicate this with you. But sometimes they're just truly sitting on it and they may need a little bit of additional time. Number three, maybe there's something you said or something you did that kind of started giving commission breath. In other words, you did something or you said something that gave your prospect pause. It made them feel like you needed this deal more than they actually wanted it. So that can completely throw off the vibe. And now they feel more empowered than they should. Empowerment is usually seen as a positive thing, but in a scenario like this, you want to maintain control of the situation. And if you have given them the impression that you need it more than they want it, then you have ultimately given them too much power in this scenario. Number two, they never really needed or wanted this solution in the first place. I cannot stress this enough. We, as sellers in particular, but as humans in general, unfortunately, we can be so excited about the thing that we are offering that we think everybody naturally just wants it or needs it. And we just go out spewing, hey, I've got this thing. Don't you want it? And, just think about how that comes across. I mean, no matter how great your thing is, no matter how great your service or your product is, the way that you present it sometimes can give off the wrong vibe. And unfortunately, again, people are not always quite as bold as they probably should be. Like the people that boldly say, no, I'm not interested. Honestly, you should give them a hand clap and thank them for being so forward and so honest. Because the ones that will just take what you're presenting and ask you, sure, yeah, go ahead and send me a price, send me a proposal. Those people are wasting your time. And that's unfortunate. Not only are they wasting the time that it took you to put together a pricing proposal and send it over to them, but you also might be getting your hopes up for nothing. So, yeah, look out for the people who never really wanted your solution in the first place. They didn't perceive that they had a need. The last reason that people tend to ghost us is because it simply is not the right time. Imagine this. So, you sell something that is high ticket, okay? So, your product, your service, your solution, whatever that is, that thing costs a lot of money, okay? It costs a lot relative to whatever other solutions might be available on the market. Because of that, every prospect, every customer, every other person is going to invest whatever time they need to sort out whether or not this is the right solution for them. But most importantly, they have in their mind an idea of exactly when this solution is going to be needed, and they're not going to buy it substantially ahead of time. Okay, so let's say they know that their contract is coming up in first quarter of next year. Or let's say there's going to be a need pending some other event. Maybe there's a project happening. Maybe they might want to do another thing. If you haven't asked them specifically what their timeline is, then unfortunately you could throw out your solution and they might just receive it and then sit on it. And they'll never communicate to you voluntarily that it's not the right time. They'll just have you sitting there pinging them, following up with them, asking them questions, and potentially getting into these things that I'm going to talk about next, which is what you should never do when someone ghosts you. Number one, please, pretty please, dear friends, do not pressure your prospects. I cannot stress this enough. If you pressure them, this will only send them farther away. It's like you chasing and they're running. They're already giving signs and vibes that they are running from you. Don't make it worse by applying pressure. This is not a game for one party to win and another party to lose. This is not a blitz and it's not a full court press. Okay. So just chill for a minute because we're going to talk about exactly what to do momentarily. The next thing not to do is do not offer a discount. All right. Don't offer a discount. If it's not the right time, if they're not the right person, if there's something missing about your solution, it's not a perfect fit, a perfect match according to what they perceive their needs are, or any of the first 5 reasons that I propose that they might ghost you, if any of those things exist, you offering a discount is not going to move the needle. It's not going to change anything. As a matter of fact, it's just going to empower them more to treat you less than the professional that you truly are. So, what exactly should you do if someone has ghosted you? Well, first and foremost, just know that it's not the end of the world. And there is hope, or there could be hope. It really just kind of depends. So, it truly does depend on the situation, and I would encourage you to get with a professional. But the most important thing to get yourself and your prospect back on track on the same sheet of music is to give them a little bit of space so that you can reset the expectations and reset who you are and the value that you deliver. Sometimes we as sellers, like I said, we get so eager early in the sales process that we tend to skip steps. We're not asking the right questions. So the number one most important thing that you can do is set this up properly in the beginning by asking all of the right questions. But if unfortunately you forgot or you failed or you missed something along the way, don't think that you completely botched it. Usually there is a way for you to get things back on track, but you'll have to be able to hit the reset button in order to do so. All right. I hope some of this information was helpful to you. If so, please leave me a comment, and I would love to hear about your stories. I'd love to hear what kind of scenarios that where you've been ghosted, and I would love, love, love to know if there has been a situation that you've been able to turn around and put on your full Dan Aykroyd Ghostbusters uniform. All right. So until the next time, cheers, everybody. Stay blessed. Work your behind off and let God work on the results. Have a great day.